Now I'm going to give it to you straight. Your co-workers are not your friends. I know that might sound harsh, but mixing friendships with professional relationships can only lead to bad consequences. It can impact your career growth, implicate you when it comes to promotions in a negative way, and can really impact on your perception at work. So today in this video, I'm going to explain why mixing friendship with your co-workers can be a dangerous mix, and how you can create that healthy boundary between your co-workers being in a friendly space versus seeping into your personal life as a friend. If you're new to this channel, my name's Tariq. I'm a technology and product leader at one of the world's largest investment banks. I've got 20 years of working experience in the corporate world, and I can tell you hands down that your co-workers should not be treated as your friends. They should be people that you are friendly with and that you create boundaries with, but create healthy professional relationship with. So that supports your career growth and helps you to achieve what you want from your career as well. So say for example, in one scenario to start with, that you're friends with your co-workers, and outside of work you hang out, you go to events, you do things together, and say one time you go out, you have a real argument with your friend or your co-worker, I should say, about a certain opinion or something that's happened, and it really leads you to butt heads with this individual. Now, you may think to yourself, that's fine, you'll resolve these things as adults, you'll treat yourselves as adults in the workplace, but the reality of it is that tension from outside of the workplace will come into the workplace, and that tension will start to impact on your performance at work, but also the co-worker could then go on to mislead the perception of you with other people, and it starts to seep into the way you're perceived at work. So that tension can then go all the way up to management, into your manager's level and above, and start to seep into the relationships there. And this is all because of tension and a bad relationship with that co-worker, purely because of a personal misunderstanding or personal conflict. This also makes it extremely awkward for other people who are stuck in the middle of this, people who are on both sides, and that really impacts the way they're able to work. And what it boils down to is that you become the focal point of discourse and not creating a thriving environment in the workplace. If you're spending time focusing on this personal matter and this conflict between you and your co-worker friend, then you're not focusing on what really matters, what you're there for, which is to perform well and to grow your career. You need to be laser focused on your goals, and if you want to accelerate your career and to be passionate about what you do. And that cannot happen when you're mixing friendship in this certain scenario where there's conflict, and this conflict only arises because you've got yourself into a position where your friendship seeped into this life with your co-worker, and these personal conflicts seep into work. So another scenario that is really common, it's happened to me in the past, and this is why I avoid co-workers being friends, but also I know many people this has happened to, is when you've made friends with a co-worker and then you're up for promotion, both of you. It could be a promotion within your team that is equal opportunity for everyone to get, but now you're stuck in this awkwardness and extra tension of managing your personal relationship in a professional space when it comes to this promotion. It's just really awkward, and this sort of promotion can really cause strain on your professional relationship, but also your personal one. And then it makes you start to question, do you put friendship loyalties ahead of your career, ahead of your own growth? And that is always a situation you do not want to be in, because you're at work for one reason and you're there for your own personal growth. And that is exactly what you need to focus on. You should not be putting a friend's needs in front of yours when it comes to you getting the recognition that you deserve and the visibility you deserve. Another common pitfall here when it comes to this co-worker friendship mixing is when you get promoted into management. Now, if you are friends with all of your peers and you're in a friendly environment with them where you're personally all connected, and then one of you becomes the manager, it becomes extremely hard to then command respect from a management perspective, to create that relationship between a management level and a co-worker who is now a delegate. It becomes extremely tense to do this. The delegated individual, the co-worker who may over time become disgruntled and may think, why are you treating me this way where you're asking me to do things? We're mates, we're friends, cut me some slack here. But the professional capacity then seeps in with the personal capacity. It becomes extremely hard to be taken seriously as a manager if you are the one who's been promoted up and trying to get your co-worker friends to do what you want to do to be successful in the role. Because what's effectively changed here, and why you were friends to start off with, is because you were all on the same playing field. You all felt safe in each other's company, you're all in the same boat. But when you become a manager, you are not on the same playing field as those beneath you, as those who are effectively your delegates. So that playing field changes, the tension changes, and your friendship hierarchy is going to change, and that's going to lead to gossip and tension and infighting almost between you and those colleagues. When you're a manager as well, it really leads you to make decisions that are sometimes not favorable for everyone. And if these people are your friends, these co-workers are your friends, and you're making a decision that is good for the work but not good for them, that becomes extremely hard for you to manage. It's hard or sometimes impossible for you to stay objective in these scenarios. You're stuck between compromising your ability to lead and being a good friend as well. And you do not need that in the workplace, because ultimately your performance is based on what value you can bring to the organization and how you can help bring results. And you can't do that if you're putting your personal relationships in front of those that drive better outcomes for customers of the company you work for. Now, another big area where mixing is a bad idea here, friendships and co-workers, is office gossip. This can be a real career killer. When you get too close to people and your tongue becomes loose and effectively you go into bad mouthing management or talking about other people in the office, you become known and part of this group of office gossipers, and you lose credibility in doing this, especially when information shared could lead back to you. And this may not be done in harm. This may be done you're doing this not thinking that it will be harmful to other people and that you feel safe in sharing this information. But reality is, once the information's out there and once you're associated with these gossipers and this sort of office bad side of office politics, it can only detriment your career, the perception of yourself, but also when there are lists put together for promotions or for taking on more responsibility in a positive way, you will not be on that list. You'll be just seen as someone who is not credible and doesn't have integrity in the workplace. Also, if the people you're gossiping with and the friendship group that you created are biased towards one way of working or biased towards the one side of the organization, that could actually detriment your career as well. Because to stay safe in the workplace, you have to almost be neutral, and you have to find out yourself the office politics of that scenario and know where the energy is going for the company, and you align yourself to that energy. You don't align yourself to the co-workers who may be the ones who are fighting a revolution or who are against the trend, against the wave. That is not good for your personal growth and for your career. You need to move forward with your career, thinking about how you can firstly get more visibility, but ultimately get to a position which increases your income. Another angle to this as well is that when you get very close with your co-workers, you start to share deeply personal information with them. Now, at the time, this might seem harmless. It might seem harmless for you to share what's going on in your personal life, but that word does get around. And at the same time, if it does get out, or every piece of information you share is effectively ammunition against yourself when it comes to promotions or when it comes to being taken seriously in the workplace. So you have to be very careful with the information you share. And it's always a good idea to have a healthy, constructive relationship with a co-worker, but that doesn't necessarily mean you need to share the ins and outs of your personal life with them and your personal opinions on political matters or things that are going on in your life that could harm the way you're perceived at work. Some of these opinions and some of this personal information could actually make you seem unprofessional in the workplace. And once that sticks, it's very hard to walk away from that image of yourself. So really thinking about this in a bit more constructive way, Yes, you should not be friends with your co-workers, but you should create a healthy boundary between you and your co-workers. Effectively, you should be able to work in a productive manner that allows you to be friendly, to share healthy relationships, but also be able to share constructive feedback with them to help them grow. And ultimately, you are all there to serve your end customer. You're there to help make the customer's life easier, to solve a problem for the customer. That is effectively what organizations do. They solve problems. So if you're all in that together and you're sharing information that way and thinking about having healthy, friendly chats and happiness in that respect, and that's great, but to seep into your personal life can only complicate matters. Always keep an eye on your career goals, on your growth, and what will give you the visibility and recognition you need to move forward in your career. If this video has resonated with you and you've liked what we've discussed today, please like this video and subscribe to this channel, because I am going to be sharing all of my advice, my tips for growing your career, accelerating it rapidly like I have done. I've been working in the corporate world for over 20 years, but only in the last 2 years I've really accelerated and taken on board some of these tips that I've employed myself, and they've really accelerated me into executive leadership, and you can do the same too. So stick around for more videos and see you in the next one.